today we're going to do a little bit of, I'm not going to say hiking, because we're not really hiking. We're going to be wandering more than we're going to be hiking and doing a little foraging. One of the things that I really want to get to is pine needle tea. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to pick some pine needles. Hopefully look for some mushrooms. Got Jake Dog riding shotgun, as always. So we're gonna forage the forest here. I'm just heading up one of my favorite hallas. Halla. This is a really good halla. As far as access and everything is pretty easy, and it is pretty bountiful, actually. Show you the river real quick here because the river's gorgeous. This is the river. That's the other river. It's pretty, that's for sure. So let's do this. Let's get in the woods and see what we can find. Like I said, today we're going to be looking for some mushrooms if we can. We're just going to wander and harvest and scavenge and whatever else we could do, right? Okay, so I'm going to head on up in here a couple miles and then we're going to get out and hike around. Just love this place. I'll give you a little look-see. I'm truly blessed to live where I live and have the advantages that I have here. So, okay, we'll get up there and we'll get back. All right. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Heavy's house. And today we're going to do a little, we're not going to hike, we're going to wander, do a little foraging. I wouldn't really call this hiking. We're just going to trip through the forest a little bit and see what we can find. What we are going to do though for sure is gather some pine needles, and I'm going to show you guys how to make some pine needle tea and why you should be making pine needle tea, especially right now in the fall as we're coming into winter and flu season, and just the benefits of that. And it's something that you can do really easily, and what it provides is just outstanding. So we're going to forage around, hopefully find some mushrooms. I'm really on the look here for coral mushrooms. Haven't heard anything about them being out yet. It's been a strange year this year. Hardly any morels, but tons and tons of huckleberries. Everybody has 15 pounds of huckleberries in their freezer this year, which is pretty rare because they just don't do what they did this year. So it was kind of a weird thing with the lack of morels, tons of huckleberries, and we're going to see what's up with the oysters because they should be out now. Or not the oysters, sorry, the corals. All right, so let's go wander around the forest. All right. Okay, so we're coming up on a stream here. And I just wanted to show you this big, beautiful cedar. They get bigger. I don't know if they get much more beautifuler though. So the thing about the cedar leaves too, so that I'll tell you, is you can take these and boil them in water and inhale the steam to help alleviate lung congestion problems. They're just really good for that. And so here's the stream. This is a nice little creek. She's a beauty. Okay, so it's time to put my money where my mouth is. And we have found a crossing. But do we really want to cross? I don't know if anything on that side is
all that important. It's looking a little wet and a little slippery, but I will do that. I'm not afraid. But I think I'm gonna work this side of the river, to the creek, a little bit longer. Jake's going for it. All right, you let me know if you find anything, Jake. No? What do you, no? Yeah? No? Okay. Okay, so this is a red-belted polypore. It's also known as a pina cola. I'm not sure which tribe or language it was, but some of the Indians knew this as what was called the taiga, and taiga literally translates into shelf, ledge. So this was known as the ledge or shelf mushroom. It's also known as a punk. A lot of lumberjacks, you'll hear them calling them punks. Tinders, the mountain men of the old day and the settlers would dry these out and break them open. They're very fibrous inside. You can't eat them. So they would rip those fibers apart and put them in a hollowed out rock with some animal fat, and they would light it as like a wick, and it would burn for a really long time. And sometimes they would just burn these mushrooms because the coals would burn slow and hot, and that was one way that they could keep their fire going. Now, there is talk about these being medicinal, as well as turkey tails. If you know what a chicken of the woods are, they're also one of these same. They're part of the same family, but you can eat the chicken of the woods. You can't really eat these. Oh snap, as I live and breathe. What do we got there? What we have here is a baby coral. Now, that's not big enough to harvest, but that is young and healthy, and there's some more coming up. So we might be too soon. We might be too early. I was worried that I was going to be too late. Yeah, so that's a good sign, I think. Now here's another crazy mushroom. I almost think that that's a type of hen of the woods that they call it, but I'm not sure. If anybody knows for sure what that is, please feel free to post it. We got lots of little brown mushrooms and other things popping up all around here. And it's just, it is so warm, it is so hot. It's 74 degrees, it's the middle of October. It's just strange. strange. I'm not a climate guy, warming climate guy. I don't know if I believe in any of that, because, you know, I've seen ancient tree rings that show major droughts long before this planet was populated and being polluted. I'm not saying that polluting the planet is a good thing, because it's not, and it is definitely affecting our air and water quality. So we need to get on it for that reason, or all our water is going to be undrinkable at some point, and that's not good, and our air unbreathable. And we're just scientifically so far advanced now, we just don't need to be pumping these carcinogens and, you know, what do they call them, VOCs into the air, because we need to protect this beauty. And the national forest out, that's a hen of the woods right there. That is a hen for sure. I have a freezer full of chicken of the woods, so I'm not going to harvest that. What was I saying? I don't know. Some political brouhaha. It's kind of hard to think about that stuff when you're out here, and then at the same time it's kind of hard not to, because you see how volatile and precious this is and you want to keep it. I don't know what we got going on here. Some kind of, I don't know. Are those going to be turkey tails? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I do not know what those are. They're soft. What could those be? These might be chickens, actually. But these ones beside them aren't chicken. So I don't know if they're the same. But those might be chickens getting started. I don't know. I can't say. So, but here's some other stuff coming all up here, and it might be a type of turkey tail. But that looks totally different. And they're as big as those, and these are still white. So, I think this is a different species altogether. Isn't this fun? Walking through the woods? I love the woods. I loves me some forest. So right here, I don't know if you can tell, see that depression going under here, and then there's a bank and up a bank. So this was man-made. This was back in the day. And as you can see, this ridge runs pretty far in either direction. Let's get down in here. You can see it runs straight up there. So this was one of two things. It was a water trough or a rail. And I don't think it was a rail, because usually the rails they built up for little rail cars. And so what this means is that there was a working mine in this area back in the day. So the miners would most likely have ran water down this. It's the way they've built it. So what they would do for rails is they would build up a berm like that, like Jake is on right there. They would build this berm up and build the rail cars across it. And then these trenches they would use for water, for sleuthing and whatnot with their gold. And I've actually ran into this one miles up from here. So this was quite the operation that this came down this far, that this is still going here. They had some seriousness going on. And by the looks of it, that direction is uphill and this direction is downhill. And the creek that we cross flows the same way. So they were tapping into the creek further up somehow and running water down here to their mine, wherever it is. Maybe one day we'll come look for that. All right. Not sure which way to go. What direction? If I go this way, I gotta put you down. So if we find something cool, we'll get back on it. Okay, so on my way out, ran into these. Now, what I've been told is that these are called shrimp. And that they're a type of porcini. They're called shrimp mushrooms. And that they're edible. And the reason they call them shrimp is because they're supposed to smell like shrimp. So Oh, they do. They do. They have a distinct seafood smell to them. Doesn't look like it's getting too close, but I just want you to see the gill on it. And that's the front, and it's got that color. Now, I've heard other people call these lobsters, but these are not lobsters. Lobsters grow like a oyster mushroom and a chanterelle. And I don't think lobsters actually have a stem. These have stems. Lobsters come directly out of the ground and start opening up. So, but we're going to leave these two. I've got a little bit of a hike out, and I'm not prepared to carry these. You need an air box to get stuff like this out of here as far in as I am. Now, what is that? What is that? Oh my God. What is that? Are those... Oh, they're... Oh. They're dead. This is what they are. Dead and rotting. I wonder what they were. They look like they were healthy. At least I think they're dead and rotting. Them. You never know with a mushroom. You never know. So if anybody does know what that is, there's that on top and then that on the bottom. And then we got more red belts sporing out. See all that liquid? Can you see that? We're getting too close. Maybe do it that way. There's another one. You see the beads coming off of it. Alright, mushrooms, mushrooms, mushrooms. Gotta love the mushrooms. Alright, I'm gonna start working my way out of here. It was a good day. Didn't find a coral, but got a soul charge. So here we have another coral, another small one. So I'm hoping that I'm just too early. I'm jumping the gun, and that they haven't gone off yet. Because they get a lot bigger than that. That's for sure. And that's so good. Tastes like beef. Okay, so we're back up on the road here, or whatever you want to call it. This was probably a logging road at one time. So we're almost out. So we're going to look for some choice pineage. Oh, there we go. That's beautiful. So we're going to harvest this right here. Going to take it up to about here. And that's just all we need. That's all you need. That's all I need. I don't know why that branch is dying, but we're going to get rid of that. Just take nice green, tender stuff, like all this. So each tree is going to taste different when you make your tea. So look at your bark and say, hey, I remember that. So that's a pretty tight skin on that one, as opposed to some other piney pine. So now this one's doing two things. I don't know, like this got grafted or something. You can see it's got a fur going on the bottom and then a skin going on the top. So Trees are tricky. They're a tricky business. But once you get them, you get them. We're going to head back there and make some tea. All right. See you at the house. All right. We're back from our little field trip. Our mushroom menagerie, if you will. Unfortunately, we didn't find any corals, but that was the backup plan. We originally went for this right here, some pine needles. This is off of a fir. So this is what you do. You turn on your water. You boil your water. Let's get you down to the water so you can see what's going on. Get your water here. You boil it up in your little pot, and you pull these guys off like so. Now, I don't know if you can, if you dry them or not. I don't know what the deal with that is. I've always been taught and read that the thing to do is to get them fresh. So I've already boiled this water. This water is piping boiling hot. So I'm gonna turn it off, and you're gonna turn it off too. So, and then you're gonna let it sit for at least a minute to 2 minutes. So let it kind of cool down, because you don't want to kill what's in here. You just want to steep it. And just to be sure, let's rinse these off. I'm not really worried about pollutants because of where I got them in the forest, but you don't know. Animals do things. These are up pretty high, but I've seen some pretty tall moose. So, okay, boil your water, you turn it down. Now you got a nice steam going. And literally, just grab it like this, right there, like I have it. If you can see that. And pull. Okay? Pull. So now you want to go, like, leave your burner on low, like 1, or low. Low. I'm gonna put a bunch in here. So why are we doing this? Does it taste good heavy? It can taste good. Each tree is different. Each needle is gonna have its own flavor from each tree. And some of them are really good and really refreshing. And some of them aren't. None of them taste horrible though. Well, why are we doing this then if it doesn't taste awesome? We're doing it because that little baby right there, okay, is the highest source of vitamin C you are going to find in North America. Alright, and I kid you not, if you're watching this video, you're already on your little Google Fire. Google it, pine needles, vitamin C, and it will come up to you. Oranges, an orange has, I think, 350 milligrams on average, 14 to 2600. Okay, it's no joke. So that's why we're doing it. It's in the fall right now. Cold and flu season is upon us. You got to start building those vitamin C reserves. Vitamin C does not fight off the cold and flu, okay? Your immune system fights off the cold and flu. Vitamin C fortifies your immune system, okay? Your immune system is your immune system,
right? Now, people that have low immune systems need to take antibiotics and other things to help them fight off infections and disease and sickness. But for the majority of us who have an average immune system, things like fried food and alcohol and cigarettes and bad diets. Caffeine destroys vitamin C. Coffeeholic right here, okay? Yeah. I'm a 3 to 4 pot of coffee a day guy. Trying to cut that back personally, but I do love my fiend. Love my fiend. So, caffeine destroys vitamin C. You need to know that. So if you're a heavy... Wait a second, I'm heavy. Huh? If you're a heavy coffee drinker, then you definitely want to get in on this tip right here and make it happen. Okay. There are 3 monster sources of vitamin C in the world. The number 1 source is a nut or a fruit from Indonesia. If you're in Indonesia, awesome. Then you know what it is. Go get it. Start plucking it down. But if you're not, like me, then you need the other sources. So the 3 top sources, the number 1 source is the nut or fruit. I'm not sure what it is. Found in Asia. Second source, bada bing, right here. Google it. I'm telling you. Third source, heavy, you ask? What is it? Where can I find that? I'm going to tell you right now. This is the third source, right here, the third highest source. So, if you were Googling pine tea and vitamin C, then most likely this came up too. These are rose hips. They come off of rose plants. These come later in the fall. I just picked these. I'm drying them out. Then I'll go through them and clean them up, pull all these little nubs off when they're dried up, and then you can mash them with a hammer. I put them in a coffee grinder, and again, same thing with the tea. Once these are dried and going, this is what I have left from last year's haul. That's it. And those are kind of cruddy. Those were the ones that got passed over and picked over. So, rose hips, and I'm going to show you actually right now. I'm going to take you outside and show you my rose hip production facility, because I got it going on. Let's go.
Okay, so here are my rose bushes. You can see all the rose hips on these. I'm by no means a rose breeder. I enjoy the roses for sure when they come out, and as you can see by all the hips, these get covered. These are massive, massive Rocky Mountain rose bushes. And these are out of the Rockies. These are wild roses. So these are the rose hips, and you know that you can live off these. They have nutrition in them and the high amounts of vitamin C. So, you know, the mountain men and the Indians and people that came through here knew that. And they're not good tasting by any means. They're not horrible. They're not unbearable. They're a little tart. But they are packed with the vitamin C. Alright, let's get back to the tea. That was the Rose Hip Factory. As you can see, I got it going on. And that bush that I just showed you is only one. I have 3 like that. So I picked the crap out of some rose hips, and I give them to my friends, and I go get leaves or needles and make up teas for them to drink to build it. So like I was saying, I don't know if I covered this totally or not. Your immunity system is your immunity system. Vitamin C does not fight infection and sickness. Your immunity system does. But what vitamin C does is fortifies your immune system, gives it the ability and the energy and the strength that it needs to fight off infection. So here you go. Right there. Rose hips, pine needles. Your two major sources of vitamin C in North America. Okay? Google it if you don't believe me. Alright? Okay, so let's go back to the tea. Guys, those are what you want. Those have the most C in them. So you can get an idea here of how much I got in. You know what? And here a good thing to do. Cover the top. Cover the top so that you can't see through it. Or pretty close to it. Now, just in case you do have any allergies or anything like that, once you're done with this, steeping it, and I would steep it for 15 to 20 minutes after this point, or we're going to put a lid on it, and then you're going to drink it. I don't recommend eating the needles, so run it through a strainer, or they will most likely all sink to the bottom once it's steeped, so you can just pour it off the top, and you're going to start seeing these beautiful oils coming to the surface, and that's what you want. You want those oils, so you pour those off, and depending upon which needles you have, the water will turn a greenish color or a reddish color or a yellowish color. You'll see. So what you need to do is start finding the trees in your area, and some of the needles, you're gonna have big long needles like the Scotch pines and the Christmas tree pines and stuff like that. All this is Googleable, so Google it and see what's up. And I think I stated earlier, you just want to stay away from the bull pines and the ponderosas. Even though there's a lot of Indian Native American medicine that actually calls for bull pine medicines, I don't know, I'm not advising you, I'm not a doctor. So steep this for 15-20 minutes, let it cool, sip away. Remember what trees you get your needles from, find the tree that you like the most, and then stick with it, and be happy, be healthy. All right, thanks.